Welcome to the House of Insanity. Video 2 for the day. We are making low carb peanut butter cookies. And here's where I'm getting concerned. I'm going to block out who made this, but I'm sure some of you low carb keto people. So this is where we're using this erythritol, or however you pronounce it. It is an artificial sweetener. I did not buy the powdered, because unbeknownst to me, I guess there's a difference. I did try and powder it. I don't have a NutriBullet, my bad. In my container, I have a cup of peanut butter, all natural. So there's no sugars or anything like that, and it's really good. So if you've never had the sugar-free kind, it does taste good, I assure you. So we are using a cup of peanut butter. They didn't specify what kind. I'm using the all natural. And then we have our half a cup of erythritol, or whatever you want to call it. It says if you don't have powdered, they didn't specify powdered until I got to the instructions, you can make it. Take a half a cup of granulated and blend it in a NutriBullet. They didn't tell me that, so I don't have granulated. So I'm putting it in my little bowl, and I'll pan down in a minute. And then you take your 1 egg. And I'll show you this in a sec here. I got 1 large egg. And that is basically it. So this is supposed to make, I mean, this is like no cookie I've ever made, let me tell you. I've got my oven preheating to 350, so you like somehow whip this up. I don't know how these are going to turn into cookies. There's like no baking agent. So I just don't understand. I mean, I get it, the egg will pop bit, but I don't know. It is forming like a dough, so maybe. Again, this goes against everything. You know, I'm a baker, like an old-fashioned baker. Like, I bake from scratch. So this goes against everything I stand for, like putting all this, I'm sorry, fake stuff in here. And I know I'm trying to get this carb down, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, I think it's going to bother me too much, and I'm going to end up going back to baking the old-fashioned way and just doing right by my body and not having, if I'm going to eat sugar, I'm going to eat it the natural way. And say, because I'm sorry, 200 years ago, 100 years ago, we didn't have these problems either. And I'm sorry, they were eating grains, they were eating carbs, but they were eating all natural. The problem with our country today, I think, is all this processed stuff and all these chemicals, and that's where I think our problems lie. And that includes my problems and your problems and everybody's problems. So these are supposed to make 15 cookies. It says 1-inch little balls. So let's see here. Yes, my hands are clean, kids. I washed them about 52,000 times. If these taste good, I will be a happy camper, because I will say, being carbless without flour products, I'm having a real hard time. I mean, I'm not going to lie. This has been a battle of the wills. I did break last night and have a peanut butter chocolate issue. It could have been worse. I know that because I stuck with dark chocolate and some peanut butter. So it could have been way worse. I could have went to the dark side completely and ate like cake. And it's not just the weight loss that I'm doing this for. I mean, it's more about my health than anything. Yes, I would love to lose some weight. That would be a bonus, but it's more about like my overall general health. All right, so these are going to go in the oven now. So they're gonna, as you can see, I got a lot of dough here. These are supposed to bake for 10 to 15 minutes or until the edges start to turn brown. And then I'm gonna transfer them, and you can have them with a yummy glass of nut milk. Sounds delicious. I'm gonna show you how the cookie turned out. These ones are a little smaller. I made the second batch a little bigger. I got 24 cookies out of this, so they must be they said 15, so I'm guessing I made these way too small. They have a nice texture. They're definitely cookie-like. They have a weird, Julia described it kind of tasting like beer. She's only had beer a sip once, like in her whole life. Because I peer pressured her into it, so that's what she'll tell you. But that's what she says. I don't know. It has like at first this kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it, but right like a few seconds after, it tastes like a peanut butter cookie. It's not terrible. I'm still hung up a little bit about the chemicals, but these would certainly be doable. So here's the statistics for us. Now, they've given us the right measurements and the right information. So if you eat, there's 15 cookies. They don't tell us how many cookies are in a serving, so I have no idea. I'm guessing one cookie is 105 calories and 9 grams of fat and 4 grams of protein and 2 net carbs. I'm actually going to figure out, because what I have found is a lot of these recipes I'm finding online, their calculations for the calories and carbs and that are way off. And if they're not calculating correctly, you are probably could be gaining weight or not losing, and that could be part of your problem. So I'm going to do the calculations and put those at the end of the video. I will say, I'll give the products that I'm using. I used that, I'm using Natural Jif was my peanut butter of choice. So the calories that will be calculated for this version that I show you is for the Natural Jif. This was the low carb peanut butter cookies, and I'm going to edit so that you get the right calculations. So I'm going to do that quick now, and then I will fix that up. Okay, so I figured out, number one, what the issue with the cookie was. So it's got like a cooling effect when you eat it. Like the first time you put it in your mouth, it's got like this cooling effect, almost like it's not minty, but it has like this, like alcohol would have like a cooling effect. So there's that. But then it tastes like a peanut butter cookie. I don't know. I don't understand it. So for the whole batch of cookies using the Jif, and then just the standard erythritol and the 1 egg, I got 1,594 calories, 133 fat grams, 62.3 protein grams, 96.4 carbs, 16 grams of fiber, and 80.4 net carbs. Because you subtract your fiber from your carbs, that gives you your net carbs. It's good carbs, bad carbs, it's a game. So per cookie, and you saw what size cookies I made. Here are the slightly bigger cookies. They're not that much bigger. They're not that much bigger. They just came out of the oven. So per cookie, they're giving me 66 calories. They had 105 calories. 5.5 grams of fat, 0.6 protein, 4 carbs, 0.7 fiber, 3.35 net carbs per cookie. So I'm not quite sure what how many, if they're saying you can have 2 cookies, or if they're giving you bigger cookies. For one, I don't know, they don't say what kind of peanut butter. Not all peanut butters are going to be the same. If you're using a sugared up peanut butter, obviously you're going to have a lot more carbs in it. So I would be very careful when you're going by their calculations, and make sure you're doing your own calculations. And my calculations aren't going to be your calculations, depending on what ingredients you're using. If you're using a large egg, it's going to be different than a small egg. By the way, I used a large egg. So are these cookies terrible? No, I would actually make these again. These will do when I'm having a sweet tooth attack. I don't know that I'm sold on the cooling effect, which is weird. So this is what it says. Erythritol is a naturally occurring sugar alcohol derived from a corn source and is naturally found in small amounts in various plants, fruits, and fungi, including mushrooms. It contains virtually no calories, 95% less calories than the sugar table, or table sugar. I can't read today. It has a low glycemic impact and doesn't contribute to tooth decay. Basically, all the bad things about sugar are absent in erythritol. Yet it tastes just like sugar and is about 70% as sweet. I don't know. It says it's a non-GMO, but I don't know. When you're breaking down natural things, I still really... I don't know. I've already been on that road with you guys. But I don't know. It's not terrible. So I'll probably get turn into like a mad rabbit or something later, but you know, whatever. So there is low carb peanut butter cookies, and a little bit of soapbox for you. So stay sane. Love you guys. Love you guys. I'll see you later on the House of Insanity.